now, I think most of us really first got to know what a good actor and singer he was, of course, on the show Glee. But behind the scenes, he was secretly writing books. And tomorrow, his 20th book comes out. Millions and millions of these books have been sold. They are bestsellers, especially to young people. And you know how much I love kids' books. I still read them. I still get into them. And this guy is a master. Tomorrow, we get to know a brand new character. When you can read Roswell Johnson Saves the World. Welcome to the show, Chris Colfer. How are you?
Oh, I'm so good. Thank you so much for hyping me up like that. I really appreciate it.
Well, I will tell you, you have earned the hype.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
I mean, I think it's always so mind-boggling to me when people are just so good at so many different areas. And I guess we can say it all comes under the umbrella of creativity. But I do think, to really get good at something, you have to put a lot into it. And so to put a lot into your voice and your performance and then also your writing, do you kind of have to pick times when you're focusing on one over the other? Or are you a miracle of output?
Oh gosh, I'm not a miracle of anything. But I think I let life decide for me.
Oh.
I've been writing nonstop since 2012. But I have managed to do some other projects here and there. No one has any control over the entertainment industry. So it's really nice to have something that I solely control, which is my writing.
Well, and I guess even if you don't have a publishing date set up or anything, it's like you can always write no matter what. Little bit harder to be on TV or perform on a stage if no one's giving you,
if no one's watching
that job. And
yeah,
I got a chance to take a little peek at Roswell Johnson, and this book is so fun. It's so interesting. You're getting into the scientific world a lot, and even though there's some liberties, you point out in the beginning, in the intro, that there's a lot of truth and facts. And so tell people a little bit about this book and how we're saving the world.
Well, Roswell Johnson Saves the World is about a little boy who accidentally gets abducted by aliens and has a bunch of adventures in space. And while he's traveling through our galaxy, he encounters many different forms of technology that is beyond Earth's wildest dreams. And I got to have a lot of fun with that. And I got to teach my young readers about different forms of science that we use today or that we're developing today. But researching all of that was one of the best parts about writing the book.
I love that you say accidentally got abducted by aliens.
Don't you hate when that happens?
I mean, I assume it's always an accident.
Right.
But I love what you've done with the book, and I love that I am a huge reader. I always have been. And I'm someone that, in recent years has gone back to the early chapter books of my childhood and done some rereading and gotten into them. And I think when a book like this comes out, which kind of takes kids to space, but also then ignites that interest and being able to find out that, hey, this is real stuff. And I mean, the abduction part is up for debate, but a lot of the other stuff is very real. I think there's something very special about that. What's I mean, are you very into science? Are you secretly also amazing at, physics and stuff? Or did you
Oh
have
gosh.
to did you have to do research on this one?
No, I think I actually I defy the law of physics every day I don't know how I can hurt myself as many times as I do by stubbing my toe, hitting my wrist on a door handle. Like so if anything, I prove the laws of physics wrong. But no, I've always been fascinated by science. Especially like the new discoveries that we're making every single day. I'm addicted to those kind of updates. And I've always been fascinated by the idea of alien life. And I knew that I could turn all of that into a fun kids book. And so that's where Roswell Johnson came from. It's just my love of science and my love of aliens and conspiracies.
Where are you on aliens? Because obviously I'm assuming you think they're out there. But
Yes.
do you think they're here? Have we met them?
I know aliens exist, like I know you exist somewhere. Even though I'm just looking at you on a screen, I don't actually see you in the room with me. I know you exist. I know aliens exist. Like statistically, there are so many planets and stars in our universe that if there was just a 1 in a billion chance that life existed on another planet, that would be 10,000 billion chances.
Yeah.
So those are pretty good odds. And I think it's hilarious how many people are in utter denial about it. I think people are terrified of it, which I don't think we have any reason to be afraid of them. Or I think their egos get in the way and they think, well, there can't be a species smarter than me. There's no way anyone's smarter than us. It's like, we're not that smart. I hate to break it to you. So yeah, I'm a firm believer.
I find it so fascinating. I have a friend. I don't believe in ghosts. My friend does. I don't care. Live your life. But we like to kind of debate each other in a very fun way about it. And another one of our friends weighed in at one point and said, "Yeah, I mean, ghosts. Come on. What do you also believe in aliens?" And I went, "Oh wait, that's different." And she was like,
It's very different.
It's the same. And I was like, it's not the same. Because I agree with you. Statistically, and again, the vastness of the universe, come on, of course there are. Where I trip up is I don't know. Do you think that they come and abduct people? Or do you think they're secretly among us, V style? That's the part where I feel like if they came and saw what we do down here, they'd be like, oh, just get rid of them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if anything, I think we're probably just like a roadside attraction for them.
Yeah.
On their way to something much better. But yeah, no, I do. I mean, like very much like how we abduct animals in the wild to study them and then re-release them. I think they did the exact same thing, for us. I think they're keeping tabs on us, and I think they're keeping tabs on the way that human beings are evolving over time. And fingers crossed, we're getting smarter and more compassionate. But I don't know if we have. I do. I mean, I think one of my favorite quotes from the book is, "There's no such thing as a frequent coincidence." And there have been over, I think, like 6 million abduction reports that have come out, and they've all been pretty much exactly the same story. And you think about, like, before the internet, how could someone in New Hampshire report the exact same incident that someone in Arizona was in 1962?
Yeah.
So I mean, like, disc-shaped crafts, people with big heads and big eyes, like these are very specific details that everyone seems to be coming forward with.
Okay, the ship comes down. You see it in the sky. I don't know. You're in a field for some reason. And
Always.
but they give you the option. They say, "Chris, do you want to get on this spaceship and go for a toot around space, or do you want to stay on Earth? What are you going to do?"
Well, I think I would need some things explained first. I would maybe need it in writing that I'm coming back.
Yeah.
I would need to know what exposure to their technology would do to me. If the radiation would affect me in any kind of way. I would probably need a space heater. because I'm guessing it's kind of cold. Um, I don't travel without my Tempur-Pedic pillow, a Brita filter, and a weighted blanket. So I would need, I would need a writer. I'd have to have a writer.
Okay, that is so fair. Also, I don't know that I've ever heard anyone broach the question of what does exposure to this technology do to me? And that has never occurred to, I would just be like, no, I'm good. You guys have a good trip. I'm not even entertaining it. Because I don't trust them. I won't get in a car with a stranger. I'm not getting in a spaceship with a stranger. But that is so fascinating to think about.
It's funny. Everyone is so afraid, but for me, I mean, I sound like an absolute lunatic in this conversation, but I'm loving it. But for me, I feel like there's more evidence if aliens exist. There is more evidence of them helping humanity than harming us.
Oh, for sure.
If you look at ancient artwork, like from the caves of Australia to the caves of the Mojave Desert, there or even like the Peruvian, the Nazca lines in Peru, there are very similar shapes and beings that are drawn on the caves and in the dirt, every culture has a myth, a legend, or a religion about beings coming descending from the skies and helping people learn how to hunt, how to heal, how to build, how to govern. I'm not saying there aren't bad aliens out there. There could very much be bad aliens, or just like there are bad people and good people. But I don't think anyone needs to fear them as much as they do.
I tend to agree, and I think it's just, there's such a good movie adversary that's what the average person is sort of inundated with, is they're coming to blow up the White House. Right. And but ultimately, what's the point? I don't think they care about us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. If anything, they probably don't care at all. They're probably just making sure we don't become a threat, which is probably why there were so many. I think during post World War II, when all the atomic weapons were being built, that was one of the most periods of time where there were the most UFO sightings. When when humanity was creating atomic energy, so they're probably just keeping an eye on us, making sure we don't blow up the whole galaxy.
Yeah. Because if anyone's going to do it, it's definitely going to be us. I love
that we're having this conversation. I have this conversation with myself all the time, so it's so nice to have that with another human being.
Oh, I very much love thinking about these things, and I don't know, I don't. My convictions, I think, are not as strong as yours. I'm starting to suspect that you have been to space, because
maybe I have.
You seem very positive. No, but I love that. But I do love, it is something that I do really enjoy thinking about, and then enjoy thinking about the probability and what does that look like. And then also, I think, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books, which I've read all of them many times, and I think that's sort of the idea that I like much more than this idea of they're coming to shoot us with lasers.
Yeah, to harvest our organs, right.
Yeah, because they don't need us. I truly believe that. I look at human existence and how we just love doing the same things over and over again and just being messy, and I go, they don't need anything from us. They're probably good.
No, they know where to find what they need.
Yeah,
if they exist, for sure. Yeah,
I feel like we're a reality show for them.
Oh, absolutely.
At the end of a long day, they're like, "Oh, I can't think. Let's just see what's going on Earth." What got you into? I mean, I'm assuming you probably have been writing most of your life, but when you first started writing your first book, The Land of Stories, what made you want to write books for kids?
I just write my reading level.
No, that's not true. I like it as a joke, but that's ridiculous.
I think that my majority of books that I've written a couple of YA books, but the majority of my books are middle grade, 8 to 12. And that was the age that I was when I fell in love with reading. It was also the age when I needed books. It was the age that I needed, I desperately needed an escape from reality. And I mean, I remember the profound effects that the Harry Potter series and the Narnia series and all these series had on me that I just wanted to add to that.
I love that because you know, reading was and has always been such a magical place for me. And I think I know you've been really open about being bullied and stuff and the extent of it when you were a kid, which is awful. And I certainly didn't have that, but I think most kids have stuff they're struggling to deal with sometimes. And books, especially something, yeah, like Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe. We all went in our closet and were like, please let there be a door. Please let there be a door. But
Yeah.
and I think they're so beautiful. And again, it's why now as an adult, I'm going back to a lot of the books I read then and getting into it because I think they do have such a profound impact on young readers. And
And there's something that about them that just feels like home.
yes.
It's just so comforting, just so, and it's simple. It doesn't take much brain power to read them, and it's like a hug.
100%. And I have my books that when life is really hard or I've had a very emotional day, I have a whole pile of like, I've only really read the first Harry Potter, but I very much like it. So I will go back to that. Something like Danny Champion of the World by Roald Dahl. Like,
so good.
And then you pretend you're in the caravan. And, things like that are just, it is very much that cozy blanket and like, I need comfort. And this is that thing. And I admire people who write those middle grades because I think that's a really tough voice to find sometimes as an adult. And what kind of keeps you tapped into the part of your imagination that speaks to kids that age?
Well, it is very hard to write for that age because sometimes I'll sit down at my computer and I'll think how. I'll be so distraught and disheartened by the world. Like, how am I supposed to encourage and comfort a child when I feel this way? So I tried not to be inspired by the world, but how I want the world to be. And I think the best way, the easiest way to change the world is by installing intelligence and compassion in the next generation, not arguing with your own or the generations before you.
That is not only just a very true and very wise, but I think also great advice. Because I think a lot of people who are very sensitive, I certainly have days where I'm like, I give up on this place. And the weight of the world is very heavy. And I think that's a really beautiful way to look at it is like, what can we offer kids to support them instead of fighting with each other? And I think that's a beautiful kind of vocation to focus yourself on, because it is, I mean, children are the future, and books are something that I think really help instill empathy, right? You get to know this person who is having experiences so different from you, whether that's in space, whether that's in here on the earth, whatever it is. And you also get to like hear their thought process and kind of climb inside another person. And if especially if young readers can have fun while they're doing it. And in this case, I will say being abducted by an alien is super fun.
Yeah, in this case, yeah, he's very lucky in my story.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think one thing that I really hope that kids take away from this story is just after seeing all these aliens of different species and beliefs and needs and different appendages and colors and some have wings, some have huge eyes. Seeing them all work together, I hope that makes the kids realize just how pointless and primitive prejudice is. And that's also why I love writing this age group, is because you can teach kids very, very important lessons without them even realizing they're learning something. They'll read this book and learn something about racism and not even realize it. You'll plant the seeds that racism is bad without ever using the word racism.
100%. 100%. And judging a book by its cover or thinking you know someone when you really don't. Like, it's really great. It's so fun. I love that I got to see it a little bit early, and because it's, yeah. I mean, look, this is your 20th book. You know what you're doing. Obviously.
I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
I feel like me and many young people all over the world know that you know what you're doing.
I would hope by now, but you never know.
Well, okay, fair enough. I will just say I know that you know what you're doing. And for everyone listening, Roswell Johnson Saves the World hits bookstores everywhere tomorrow. It is so lovely, so fun. I'm saying pick it up for yourself. Sure, you could give one to a kid, but get an extra copy for yourself and have a little fun. Chris Colfer. Oh, wait, real quick. Do you know the song "A Spaceman Came Traveling" by Krista Berg?
Maybe. What is it? Can you give me a lyric or two?
Oh God, a spaceman came traveling on a ship from afar. It's kind of like the Jesus story, but the spaceman comes. Goog, give it a goog.
I have to look at it. Yeah, I'm doing a big party for this book, and all the music is space themed, so I'll have to add that to the playlist.
It's a fun ride, let me tell you that. I think you'll love it. Chris Colfer, thank you so much for joining me today. This was so much fun.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
We will be right back on The Breakdown.